Welcome back, all my English language learners. Today we're going to look at the song My Way by Paul Anka, authored by Anka, meaning that he wrote the music and the lyrics, and he wrote it for Frank Sinatra. You probably know a little bit about Frank Sinatra. And the story goes that Paul Anka wrote this song thinking about Frank Sinatra, right? And thinking probably about Frank Sinatra's life in general, how he had lived his life. So, like I mentioned before in the other videos, one of the best ways to learn English is to throw yourself into English language culture. And so that includes poems and songs and reading and everything that has English in it and that is for native language speakers usually. And this is a really good way for intermediate speakers and advanced speakers to advance. I mean, you could call speakers or learners, right? For you to really push your English forward. Okay, so we're going to look at this song, and it has a lot of metaphors. Metaphors are a way for us to compare things that are happening in our lives uh, to objects or ideas, and it's a way for us to describe what we're feeling and what's happening, right? So you'll see here several of those, and it says now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. So when actors are on stage, the curtain closes at the end of the performance. And so that is called the final curtain. That means the show is over. So he's making a metaphor here about life and the show being over, right? My friend, I'll say it clear. I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. And here we've got a little bit of legal vocabulary. I'll state my case. I'm going to, explain to you how I feel. I'm going to defend myself, basically. I've lived a life that's full. I traveled each and every highway. So I've gone, a lot of roads, but this is a metaphor for doing a lot of things in life. Okay, doing everything that you wanted to do. Not that he's actually physically driven down every highway that exists. hmm I've lived a life that's full. I've traveled each and every highway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. Regrets, I've had a few. Everybody has regrets. But I think a lot of people will say at the end of their life that maybe it's a good idea not to have too many regrets because if we didn't do the things that we did, we wouldn't be the same people, right? We would be somebody else. Okay. So then again, too few to mention. I did what I had to do and saw it through without exemption. This might be an idea that might be a little bit harder for some people to understand. Without exemption means that there's no times where I didn't see it through, you know? So I didn't make any excuses. Okay? I always followed things through to the end. I planned each charted course. A little bit of metaphor about sailing around, you chart the course and you sail towards that location. Each careful step along the byway. Byway is a word we used to use when it came to roads. And more, much more than this, I did it my way. Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when I bit off more than I could chew. We've got some food metaphors here, right? Biting off food here, thinking, but we're talking about living life and eating. Okay. Sometimes we do use that metaphor in life, uh, like eating as in eating something up. I ate it up. I was so into horseback riding that I ate it up. We're not talking about eating horses, of course. We're not talking about eating food. We're talking about really getting into something and really enjoying it, right? But through it all, when there was doubt, I ate it up and spit it out. So I didn't think twice. I just ate it if I just went for it, right? I faced it all and I stood tall and did it my way. I've loved, I've laughed and cried. Of course, we've all done that. Some people more than others. Some people like to live life to the fullest, right? I've had my fill, my share of losing. Here this kind of makes me think of a saying that we have, right? Is I'd rather have loved and lost than never loved at all, right? It's better to actually have had that relationship and have lost the person or lost the relationship instead of just always sitting at home and never going out and never meeting anybody. Hmm. And now, as tears subside, I find it all so amusing to think I did all that. And may I say, not in a shy way. He was definitely not a shy man, and he went out and did a lot of things. Oh no, not me. I did it my way. For what is a man? What has he got? If not himself, then he has not. So this is kind of a deep feeling, a deep thought here to close out the song, and it requires a little bit of explanation. I'd like you to think about this. You can also comment in the comments about this part of the song or any part of the song. And this is like, if you can't be yourself, is life really worth living? I think is what he's saying, right? So what is a man? What has he got? If not himself, then he has not. So if he's not in control of himself, his life, then like I don't want to be here kind of thing, right? To say the things he truly feels, this is about being direct, being honest, right? And not the words of one who kneels. Now we kneel to a king, right? We get down on our knees in front of a king and we bow to a king, for example. We have to do what the king says, right? So he's saying, I did not do that, right? The record shows, so people know, not record as in music record, but as in the history of my life. The record shows I took the blows and did it my way. I took the blows, I took the hits, I took the problems. I didn't run away from my problems. I did it my way, right? So I think we can all relate to this song. We don't have to be at the end of our life to relate to this song. Probably better if you're not at the end of your life because maybe you can take some advice from this song. Okay. Let me know what you think about it. Um, Keep practicing English, please. Find songs you like, find stories you like. Just basically take in everything that you can. Use dictionaries, look things up, and be an active participant in your learning. If you're an active learner, you're going to learn so much faster and so much better than you would if you're just sitting in a classroom and being passive. Okay. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.